I'm sure by now you've probably seen somebody do a video about unpopular opinions. Well, this is going to be an unpopular opinion video about money.
I don't care what anyone says. I don't consider a car loan real debt. There are two things, actually, I don't consider real debt. Car loan and then medical debt. Car loan is pretty obvious. Like, if you live in America, who doesn't pay a car payment every single month?
Me.
Maybe a few people here and there, but like most people do. So no, I don't consider that real debt. And then medical, technically I have medical debt from the time when I was 21 and I had a panic attack and I went to the ER without having health insurance. Was it stupid of me to do? Yes, but it happened. But I'm not paying $2,000 just because I stepped foot into a hospital. Give me a break. So I don't consider it real. And I haven't paid it. I haven't paid a dime. And little by little, those payments started falling off and they started calling me less and less and less. So yeah, I'm not telling you to not pay your medical debt, but like, maybe don't pay your medical debt.
She started off strong with that one. The fact that she said she don't consider car notes as debt. I always talk about this being one of the biggest traps that there is in America. The fact that people have these outrageously high car notes. And not only that, it typically starts at a very young age. And this is how they first get you in the system of being in all this debt. You get the car. And it's not just any car. It's a car that's probably going to be around $400 to $600 a month, something outrageous, right? And I say that because most people who are like 18, 19, 20 probably ain't got that much money to be paying all that for a car. So most of their income ends up going to that car. And that's just the younger folks. Now, if I'm talking about the people who are like 30, 40, 50, it can still be bad because a lot of people just, quite frankly, can't afford all of the upkeep and all of the services and things of that sort, gas that goes into their car and the insurance. They're probably struggling to make it if your car payment is stupid high. And that don't matter what age you are. And then she also said they pretty much stopped calling her, girl, that don't mean that it's over. Just because you may consider something to not be real debt, these people want their money because that's real money that you owe them. That's just how the system works here. I don't know. I just feel like some people aren't going to take it serious until the repo man is outside taking your car at 2 a.m. or something crazy. And I don't want that for anybody, but it's not a game. They will come take your car. Because technically that's their car. When you stop making them payments, they want their car back and they will sell it to get whatever money they can off of the fact that you didn't make your payments.
I ain't gonna lie, the day I clock into a job, that's because they didn't shut TikTok down or my email stopped working. TikTok is giving out that cash for that ass. So like, I don't understand, like between the views, the brand deals, the wigs, the whoop, the whap. Yeah, I'm sorry. The same motherfucking $600 I done sold my soul for Peter Pan in there for the company, 8 hours a day, trying to make it to 40 a week. Right. It's the same money that these companies just pay me $300 an occasion to make dinner.
This is very interesting. Now, she posted this in November 27th, 2024. As you know, we had the whole debacle with the TikTok ban in 2025. But she posted this about 2 months ago. And it says here on the screen, unpopular opinion, TikTok pays more than a 9-to-5 job. But y'all not ready for that conversation because y'all too scared to put yourselves out there. Now, it seems like everything on TikTok was definitely going in her favor. But I also don't see nothing wrong with having a 9-to-5 because it might be a little bit more secure as TikTok or social media views, things like that are very up and down. However, no job is really secure and nobody can point me to a job where you're not going to get fired unless maybe you're contracted and you know they're not going to let you go. No job is secure unless you own that business. It's a possibility.
I ain't gonna lie, just be trying to work mad hard just to get $1,000. Just to work hard, just to listen to your stupid ass, just to clock in and out, just to be somewhere on time. You. No. So I like what I do over here. I like being in charge. I like telling I said what I said, and if you don't like it, you can go find somebody else to do it. Like, these brands is really paying you to promote their brand. All I'm gonna say is, if you don't want to work and you tired of clocking in for John and them, but you like to get on social media and you're a little funny, you got a little personality, go ahead and start recording. Because if you get up on this app every single day, scrolling, or when you get on your break at the job for the people, scrolling, and you not making no money from this, you dumb as hell. See that TikTok where they say, yeah, they done fucked up giving me some money on my mama. They done fucked up. And a bitch like me get up on the tick. Cause, yeah, I am not playing. I might tell you a joke, but I might not never tell you a lie. Get your ass up on the tick. Cause that is talking.
Now, I see nothing wrong with using whatever God-given talent you have in order to make money. I agree with her on that. I'm just not sure if everybody's delivery is going to be a little bit different. And there always seems to be a debate about 9-to-5 jobs or making money online or being your own boss or whatever the case may be. I don't know why it has to be such a big debate about how people are making money as long as people are making an honest living. I honestly don't feel like one is better than the other. It's a blessing to have any income in this economy, how hard people are struggling. Symone, trying to keep you out of debt. Hit subscribe, touch the screen.
Unpopular opinions you don't have to agree with. Talking shit about rich people when we wish we could be like them is hypocrite. $100,000 a year is not a lot of money. Looking down on people who don't have a corporate job doesn't make you better. Thinking that rich people are rich because they work hard is a mistake. Blaming your current situation on everybody and their mothers doesn't make you a victim. It makes you come from it. Calling everybody that makes money online a scammer just means you're uninformed. Most of the traditional ways to make money are dead, and they're not gonna work for Gen Z and millennials. Being comfortable at a job is the worst thing that can happen to you. Saying you don't have time to start a business and then scrolling on social media for 5 hours a day just makes you lazy. Anybody who says that money doesn't buy happiness is just not making enough money. Taking a course is not gonna make you any money if you don't implement what you learn. Saving money instead of investing is a waste of time. I got a little bit carried away, but yeah, you don't have to agree with me. I said what I said, and I stand on business. Unpopular.
I want to point out a few that I thought really stood out. The $100,000 is not a lot of money is one of the ones that stands out to me because to some people that is a lot of money. I am one of those people that I believe $100,000 is a lot of money because my lifestyle is not very expensive and I live extremely, extremely below my means. Like the amount of money that I could spend every year, I would never. And I think that one right there depends on what type of person you are and how you spend money. Not only that, it's like, are you making $100,000 by yourself or are you with somebody? Because now you probably have more money to invest, be $100,000. But this is how I see it. A lot of people probably are thinking, oh, that's not a lot of money to spend. I see it like that's a lot of money to invest that can turn into more money that can make me more money. So then I have to work less in the future. But this is another one I thought stood out. Calling everybody that makes money online a scammer just means you're uninformed. Some of them for sure be scamming. They're scamming, yes. You might not be privy to what some people do to make money online, and that's perfectly fine. So I can understand why she said you might just be uninformed. A lot of people don't understand content creation, and they're just like, oh, that's not a real job, or affiliate marketing, it must be scam. Now, some of them, they scam it. Like, they trying to get you in little MLM schemes and all sorts of stuff. But I'm talking about things like Amazon affiliates and stuff like that, where people are just clicking your links and then you're actually just getting paid commission. That's not a scam. People are making passive income that way. And this one right here, saving money instead of investing is a waste of time. I was talking about this in another video, how a lot of us are told to save money, but that money isn't generating more income. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's a waste of time because if you still have the money, you can always put it into something that's going to make you more money, right? But putting it where it can generate you more money may be a better option. Now, everybody's going to have their own opinion on that, but that's just how I feel. I feel like I don't want a bunch of money in a savings account. Most people who are trying to build wealth, I don't think they just have large amounts of money in a savings account because it's not giving them anything. They're putting that stuff in the stock market. They're investing in the properties, hoping that the house appreciates. They're starting businesses. They're investing into their businesses. They're doing things like that.
You should always buy your cars with cash. Or if the car company is willing to give you a 0% loan, I think in that instance, it's okay to take a car loan.
No hate to this creator whatsoever, but I feel like people with this hot take are not only out of touch with the car market, but just out of touch with the world in general. This creator says that having a car payment is a #1 wealth killer and that you should just buy a $10,000 car instead. But I guarantee you he doesn't know what $10,000 actually gets you for a car in today's market. Yes, I get it. No car payment is a flex. But what people don't understand is everyone that's riding around with a paid off car, it means that they paid it off. It means at one point they had a car payment, which there is nothing wrong with that.
Not true, though.
Having a car payment does not mean you can't afford the car, and I wish people would stop saying that. I think in general, there's a lot of people that give money advice on this app as if it's a linear situation, as if everyone's pockets are set up the same, and that couldn't be further from the truth. In conclusion, I think the only person that can tell you how to spend your money and what to do with it is you.
Yeah.
So don't even listen to me. But my money advice when it comes to should I lease, should I finance, should I put money down, is do what makes the most sense to you. Do what you're comfortable with. And that's the best advice that I can give anyone
that's in the market for a car, looking to buy one, or asking me my opinion.
And what she said is how I feel on the topic at the end. Look, you got to do what's best for you and your family. Everybody's situation is going to be very different. But for me, I'm personally a person that would go get a used car and just probably pay it off cash and just ride it till the wheels fall off. That's how I would get down. I don't want no car payment, not never again. Another thing I've seen people do is go to the car dealer, act like they don't have any money, and then try to talk them down the price and be like, hey, I can get a higher APR for the car if you just lower that price. Meanwhile, some of these people actually have the money to pay the car cash. So they go and do this whole thing with the loan just to later pay off the car a month later because they actually just wanted to talk down the car dealer. And I don't know if a lot of you know this, but they really want to get you in to get that loan for the car. Yes, the people that sell the cars are going to get paid regardless, but they really want to get you in those loans. But again, this is not financial advice. I'm just saying, I think I seen that on CNBC. Somebody did that. CNBC Make It.
My unpopular opinion when it comes to college is if you know your mom ain't got no money, your dad ain't got no money, and you ain't got no money, you better choose a major in college that's going to make you some money. My major in college was computer engineering, and I didn't know what the hell an engineer was, but I knew that when I put in Google top paying majors, computer engineering was on that list.
Yeah.
And so I figured it out.
I see it like this. I ain't choosing something unless it's going to make me money. And then 2, it would be a plus. It'd be a plus if I like whatever I'm getting into, if I have an interest in it. That would be the sweet spot for me. But I understand how the world works. At the end of the day, if I got to survive, I might have to pick a job that might not be interesting to me or be fun to me. No one's going to care when it's time to pay my car note, insurance, my rent, my mortgage. They're not going to care if I like my job. They're going to be like, where's my money? They want their money on time. They don't care if I enjoy my life. They don't care if I have good work-life balance. That's just how I see it because I know they don't care. So I would want a job that generates me money because if I don't have money, it's going to be hard to survive out here in the real world. So I don't necessarily disagree with her, but I see in the comments people do. The top comment with 522 likes says, bad advice. That does not work. The best thing is to work after high school, save money, and choose a major that you're interested in and love. Again, that is the sweet spot. That is what everybody would like, right? But what if the major you're interested in and love does not pay you any money? You're going through life. Now you want to get married. You want to have babies. You want to do all these different things. You want to buy a house. Now you want to get a car. Some of y'all going to get the Ford Bronco. And then your husband want to get an expensive truck. You saved money and you chose a major that you were interested in and loved. But now there are things in your life that you're not going to be able to do depending on what degree you chose and how much demand there is in the job market for that degree. And then not only that, the job market is so competitive even when people have degrees nowadays. It's not even guaranteed that you're going to even be able to land something with how bad things are looking with some sectors in the job market. I discussed this in a video where I was talking about how some people are choosing majors and they're getting out and then they're not able to pay their bills. And it was a horrible situation for people. But that's because they were sold the American dream of just go to college and do what you love. That don't work anymore, in my opinion. Having a degree does not mean you're about to be rolling in the dough, like how a lot of the older generation may think, even if you picked right. Somebody here said horrible advice. Most people who work after high school end up going to college and working a dead-end job. I have seen that happen too many times. And like I said, sometimes they even choose right and then they're still struggling. And that just happens sometimes because nowadays you got to have hands-on experience and all of this stuff before they'll even hire you. And your competition might already have that. So you might be working as a bartender or something like that or a server until you can land a job. Somebody else says, bad advice, make money first and use that money to fund your passion. That's how I feel. Baby, love don't pay the bills unless you marry rich. And I know that one's probably a very controversial take, but I agree. And I want everybody to be happy and to kumbaya and be like, life is great and, I have a job and that I love and everything is perfect. But that's just not how it goes sometimes. I feel like if there's a job that can make me some good money, I'll hold it down, do what I need to do, and secure myself for the future because that's not going to be my end all be all is just working that job. I always am thinking about what's after because I feel like if you're making good money, you might be able to set yourself up if you're making good financial decisions with that good paying job and then you can chill.
It's crazy how some people feel like 2 to 5 years in a business or working on their own business is too long to get rich or to build wealth, but 40 years at a job ain't too long to stay broke. Make it make sense. Talk to people that have worked for 40 plus years after they have retired. See how many people are door greeters at Walmart. See how many of them are cashiers at TJ Maxx and Ross. They worked all those years to retire on a percentage of what wasn't already enough. It doesn't make sense. You can't convince me that having money problems don't come from having a job. And I didn't come to argue. I said what I said.
Now, I want to say I can understand her perspective and I see where she's coming from. But I also feel like being a business owner is not for everybody. Everybody does not have what it takes. And I'm sorry to say it like that. That's probably my unpopular opinion. Some people know they don't have the structure and discipline in order to do the things that they need to do to successfully run a business. And they might be better off as somebody working for somebody else. But for the people who do have what it takes and they're just probably a little weary or a little nervous, I'd see it like this. You don't get nothing in life without a little bit of risk. For example, this very YouTube channel you're watching, I did not know how this was going to go 2 years ago. It's only been about 2 years since I've had this channel. And she's talking about 2 to 5 years in a business. This is where I'm at right now. Was it rocky in the beginning? Yes. Was I not making any money in the beginning? Yes. However, this ended up turning into something over time after I held it down. So in my opinion, if you can weather some of the storms that a lot of business owners have to do in order to get to the light at the end of the tunnel, it might be worth it for a lot of people. But I'm not going to say it's for everybody. And I know a lot of people want to sell people this American dream, like everybody can be an entrepreneur and everybody can do it. You got to really look in the mirror. You really got to be honest with yourself, because when you have a business, nobody's going to push you to do stuff for your business. It's going to be on you. And there's not going to be anybody to point fingers at and to blame if stuff doesn't go your way, right?
My unpopular opinion is it became shameful to say I can't afford something when people forgot that being broke and not being able to afford something are two totally different things. When somebody tells me that they're broke, I think that they're scraping by on pennies and nickels. I feel like they're about to ask me for $20 to get by, like they literally cannot afford life. But to say I can afford something means I could buy that thing 3 times over and still be good tomorrow. Well, the other day I'm planning a trip with friends and they're like, oh, you need to give us your $1,000 deposit if you're trying to go on a trip today. I was like, I can't afford that. They were like, oh, so bitch, you're broke? Whoa. A bitch is not broke. That is not the case. Hold up. I had to explain the difference because one, I'm not broke, but also this is why people be out here lying to y'all about these trips, going on a trip with $100, because as soon as somebody say they can't afford it, all of a sudden they a broke ass bitch. That is not the case. I feel like as we're entering our 20s, we have to be mature and actually stick to a budget. So just because I'm not out here dropping $1,000 in a 2-minute conversation does not mean that I'm broke. And don't get me started on how everybody just loves to rack up credit card debt to make up for their impulsive spending that they know that they can't afford. We got to get it together, and we got to learn the difference between being broke and being able to afford something.
So it took me a little minute to register what he was saying, but I actually agree. I tell people I can't afford to do stuff, and it's definitely not because I'm broke. It's because my money is tied up and allocated. And I actually feel I agree with this 1,000%. If you come to me after a certain time of the month talking about, I need some help with something, it's too late. Money is already in the brokerage account because I'm not letting no money sit in the bank account for it not to be making me more money. I already done figured out what stocks I wanted to pick. And I personally like to operate in a zero-based budget. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, go look at my budgeting video where I talk about what that is and explain budgeting. But essentially, the zero-based budgeting is where you look at how much money you're getting every month as your income, and you literally try to get rid of every dollar until it's zero. And the reason I do that is because I don't want any money sitting around without a job so it then can just get wasted on like fast food or something. So whenever I check my account, I'm like, oh, what I said I had in my budget, I'm sticking to because it's going to end up being around zero. Now, I give myself like $100, $200, $300 buffer. But for the most part, I like to get rid of most of the money. So if an unexpected trip needed to be planned or something like that, do I have emergency fund money? Yes. Do I want to touch it for that? No. Am I broke? No. You see what I mean?
Unpopular opinion. I'm not the one you can call and ask for money, and I'm not going to ask questions. You need how much? For how long? What happened to... Because my thing is, I budget my money, but I'm not budgeting my money so people can ask me for money because they make poor decisions with theirs. If you know what I'm saying? You call me and you ask for money, but you get upset just because I didn't send it through and I got questions, then I don't think you really need my money. Because if I need some money, I'm going to answer every question that you got. And then another thing is like my money good when you need it, but it's funky when I need it back. So my thing is, no, when you gonna pay me back? Because I ain't got it like that. You give people an inch and they take a mile. You do it one time for folks and they keep coming back. And I'm not the bank, baby. You might want to go and see what First Security or, Navy Federal got going on. Because this right here, the Bank of Glow, we limited over here.
I agree with her 1,000%. I don't even got to add nothing to that. That was gold. But the part that got me, was the calling something. How many times some of us done asked for our money back? You could get your little funky $20 funky. And I'm going to even tell y'all something. I even one time gave one of my cousins some money, and she said I was her favorite cousin, right? Gave her this money, and I ain't heard from my cousin in about 10 years. And she was hounding me about this money like it was an emergency. So I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to look out, right? She ghosted me. Your own family will ghost you about $20 to $50. I think that's all it was. It wasn't even nothing crazy. I ain't heard from this lady ever since. It just is what it is.
If you have a budget, you're always going to be broke. Because the only thing a budget does is train you on how to never have enough. So now that I have your attention, I'm going to tell you exactly why that's dumb. I've seen a lot of cutesy videos and posts over the years related to money. And in this one particular post, this person was basically saying that having a budget enforces a scarcity mindset, and that in order to get ahead, you can't limit yourself. Now, everyone's free to their own opinion. But as someone who's been doing this money thing for a long time, for nearly 2 decades, I'm going to explain to you why that is bad advice. If you don't know how much you spent last month on eating out, on clothes, on miscellaneous spending, and you were doing these things while simultaneously complaining about not being able to save or not being able to get ahead, lack of a budget could be the reason why you're complaining.
Now, I be saying this all the time. A lot of people are like, I don't make enough money. They go out to eat every single day. They're like, I can't save $1. I can't save $1,000 in a year. They almost make it sound like it's impossible. They have no clue that they're spending it at Starbucks, Taco Bell, Chipotle, Chick-fil-A. Like, they are literally eating away their money. So in some people's cases, not all, like, there is nuance to everything. Some people generally do not make enough money. But we're not talking about those people right now. We're talking about the people who act like it's a money issue, that they don't make enough income, but they do. They just spend it and don't even know where it's going. She is 1,000% right.
Because if you walk around telling yourself that you're never going to be able to afford something, or you're always going to be broke, or people like you don't get ahead, there is a good chance that that will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. But budgeting, that is one thing that will never enforce a scarcity mindset. If anything, it's going to help you get to where you want to be a lot sooner. And if you don't believe me, if you go and read any article about personal finance from any reputable website, any article about how to achieve financial freedom, how to achieve financial independence, how to retire early, how to get ahead, how to get out of a financial rut, I guarantee you, making a budget is going to be on their list. It's a plan to make sure that you don't go overboard. And to be honest with you, it's really personal finance 101. Not having a budget is why you will often see people who make very, very good money living paycheck to paycheck.
Mm-hmm. Where is the lie? That was just pure perfection. Budgeting is not creating a scarcity mindset. It is literally just creating a plan. What is wrong with the plan? And the problem is a lot of people don't like to make a plan. And then not only that, they don't like to make a plan and stick to it because that's a level of commitment some people just don't want to do. And they rather just take the chances of the money falling out the sky. But a budget will hold you accountable. And you know what you have. And then you know where you're really spending your money because you're going to see how much money you're wasting, how much money you could be saving. Now, that's if you actually pull up your credit card statements or your bank statements or however you spend your money and you're honest about where that money really went. Don't lie to yourself.
So here are some of the controversial things I believe about money. I'm not like a conspiracy theorist, but I really do think that financial literacy is purposely not taught in the school curriculum to withhold the wealth gap. I remember one of the best performing videos on this page. I wasn't even going to post it because I thought it was so basic. But someone asked about why people say you shouldn't leave your money in a savings account. The amount of people in the comments saying that I've never understood this. I wish this was taught in schools. People have been saying this for too long and not a single thing is in the curriculum. They're just teaching the most basic of financial literacy. I'm sorry, but it's given on purpose.
Yeah, definitely. I've been saying that for years. And I was somebody who was taught about things like this in economics. But from what I understand now, they don't teach this stuff in school. And it was an elective class when I was taking it. It wasn't even mandatory. And people were in the back sleep. This was one of the most important classes for people getting prepared for real life because a lot of our parents weren't having these conversations. Let's just be honest. When people are financially literate or even just basically understand the traps that are set out here to keep you on the hamster wheel, working, slaving at the job, feeling like you'll never have nothing better in life because you're always clocked into the job and you just need to be at work. And then you start adding debt to the equation. So you feel like you need to be at work all the time to pay off the debt. The cycle can start very young. And some people don't even end up seeing that they're in a cycle. But if they were to understand they were in a cycle, maybe they could do things to get out the cycle. But you have to understand where the traps were. That's why I like to talk about car notes. because it gets the youth so fast. Also, student loans do too. Now, it's kind of iffy depending on, like I said, what type of degree you have and how you're going to end up being able to use that to your advantage in the future to really make good money, not just a little bit of money and just say, oh, I got a college degree, good money. And it's even the little things like telling the youth, hey, if you just invest $100 every month out your paycheck instead of going out and partying with your friends or eating out or going to Starbucks and giving them the money, and you were investing that into an account for your future, some of these people, depending on how much they're able to make, would have to work a lot less in the future. But they wouldn't tell you that because who would be doing the work? So why would they give you the cheat code? You see what I'm saying? But the good thing now is the internet is readily available. You just have to ask yourself, what is the information that you're feeding yourself every day and what is in your algorithm? Because a lot of people's algorithm is stuff that's keeping them distracted and keeping them broke because this is stuff that is not productive to their lifestyle or gaining financial literacy, working less, making money. If you want to start making money, you got to start listening to people who are talking about making money. You got to read more. You got to get understanding on these sort of things and not wasting the 24 hours that you have doing a bunch of nothing.
I really do think we should teach kids about money from as young as possible. And that doesn't mean teaching kids about how to invest or how to pay bills, but even just the psychology behind money. For example, the importance of short-term versus long-term gratification. Literally a study on this called the marshmallow test. They got a bunch of kids and asked them, do you want to have one marshmallow now or like 2 marshmallows in, I don't know, sometime in the future? And the kids that picked the 2 marshmallows, it was found out that they ended up wealthier in the future. So that tells you that that psychology being imprinted from a young age actually does have a long-term impact on you. It's something I've stood on the fence for a long time about uni being a waste of money. And I don't know why I spoke it like that, but I do think for a lot of people go to uni thinking it's going to make them the most money or thinking it's going to be their best chance at having a high income. Of course, some careers require you to have it, but the ones that don't, a lot of cases, I don't think, and I know this was the case for me, I didn't have the insight on what my possibilities would be if I was to really give it a good go outside of the uni. Now knowing like what opportunities there really are when you don't take the kind of conventional path. Yeah. I'm just like, damn, if you're going for money, uni is not going to get you the best ROI for sure, because uni often gives you really, really broad knowledge. Even if you study a particular discipline, it gives you really broad knowledge. Whereas what makes you make a lot of money is specialist knowledge.
I like the part where she was talking about the instant gratification and how they did that study on the kids. We live in a society where we are literally told, you deserve it. Like, this is the sort of language. I'm only saying it because this is what people are told. You deserve the world. You work hard. You should be able to do whatever you want. Like, don't let nobody tell you what to do with your money. See, it's that sort of energy and that sort of like, you deserve to be happier. What's wrong with me getting what I want? Or what's wrong with me having something nice for a change? There's nothing wrong with anybody having nice things. See, where we get it messed up is thinking that no matter what it is, we deserve it and we should go get it. And then what that ends up doing, because a lot of people feed into that, it puts people in debt. Because now you've told yourself that there is essentially no limits, because in America, you can put yourself into debt and get whatever you want. And the companies aren't going to stop you. Your friends are not going to stop you. Your family is not going to stop you, depending on what type of friends and family you have. Some of them actually might encourage this behavior because they like the shiny things too. And as long as stuff looks good to a lot of people, it really don't matter what struggle you're going to have to go through after you acquired it, right? Do y'all know that there are people who use their investments and all of the profits that they make for their investments to get the things they want? Like, they'll go buy a car with profits from their investments from the stock market. Not the actual money they worked for. They keep the money they worked for always circulating and making them more money in their brokerage accounts or in their investments. But a lot of people that will simply wait it out and delay the gratification will, in my opinion, always come out on top because they still have what we call capital. All the things they initially put into the investments are still there, generating them more money. That is the real cheat code.
Time spent trying to be frugal and figuring out how to save money is ultimately money lost, because a better use of your time is always going to be figuring out how to make money instead. Saw a creator on here unplugging his fridge before he goes on a vacation to save $5. And the amount of energy and effort it took for him to just like move the fridge, unplug it, record all of that. There are better ways to spend your time trying to figure out how to make money instead. Time is money, and I think that is something that actual rich people and people who make a lot of money understand that really well. And it's why they hire people to do all the things that ultimately their time is just not really valued at. I don't know. I hope that makes sense. And I'm just saying this because like even I was in a position, I remember when I was like trying to like save more money and be more frugal. And that is honestly when I made the least amount of money, was when I was trying to be frugal and save money. It is when I am constantly thinking about how to make more money instead of trying to save money that I actually make the most money. And that amount of money that I was trying to save becomes like so insignificant because I end up making like times 10, times 20, times 100 that at times. When you see this kind of frugal content and people trying to save money, it's a very poor mindset that even as someone who didn't grow up with a lot of money, I have to break my own self out of as well, because I have to remind myself like rich people are actually spending their time and their mental capacity thinking about like how to make more money. And then they just allow, investments and other things like that to make them even more money while they're asleep.
That's true. I'm actually kind of torn on that one, but I can get what she means and I respect her opinion. And the reason I say I'm torn is because I'm somewhere between a person some people would consider frugal or living below their means or whatever the case may be, right? But I also do try to find ways to make more money. I'm both. But I think when I hear people saying like they're unplugging their heat or they're cutting off the AC or whatever the case may be to save money and things like that, I can get why she may say like, okay, you might have been better off just going to go do something like, I don't know, go DoorDash or something, right? Or get a side hustle to go get some more money instead of cutting off the AC and the heat. But just because you're trying to make more money, in my opinion, doesn't mean that you should just be recklessly spending more money. And I don't think that's what she was saying either. But I think a lot of people are just like, well, if I go make more money, I'll just go spend more money. And some people don't have really a limit of how much they'll do. But that's why budgeting is important. So I don't know. I think there's a happy medium between that. But I definitely agree with trying to find more ways to make more money. I think that's more productive. And that's what I found for me works best, is just finding more ways to make more income. Because when you're somebody that's already budgeting and very strict and investing all of your money and you just like, I want more to invest, you're going to need to make more money because you're working with the income you currently have and you're doing the best you can already. But y'all, let me know what you think about this down below. What are your unpopular money opinions? Do you agree with any of the ones that you've seen, or do you strongly disagree? But we have to start making better decisions today in order to have a better future.